So OpenAI had a letter to investors that said, we are not here to make your money back by investing in us. You are kind of betting on potentially losing your money. And we have no idea what role money will play in society after AGI, in a post-AGI world. We don't know what the fuck is going to happen in society. So yeah, after AGI ASI, things go a bit crazy.
It's going to be a wild world. And I think one of the reasons why I love fiction so much is because we get introduced to concepts that are bigger than ourselves. Like, most are not aware of what's happening with AI. I have a hard time wrapping my head around this, and I studied business IT. The first time I was introduced was with Tim Urban's blog from Wait But Why. I know that you have a whole document around this.
Disclaimer, a lot of this, it is not me writing the original idea itself, but bringing together from other places. Here there are literally verbatims from Tim Urban's blog post with some variations that I thought to be more appropriate. If you pick someone from centuries ago and they saw our world, they would be completely shocked, because if you take the 1700 year, this was the biggest invention that they had at that point. Like, think about this, like this fucking spinning wheel. It was like, oh, the peak of technological revolution.
I was cutting edge.
Yes, this was cutting edge technology. So for a person who lived seeing this as the cutting edge, seeing, I don't know, an airplane or nanotechnology or even the fucking smartphone, if someone from that era saw our world, they would be in complete disbelief. However, if someone from the 1500 year visited that year, it was like, oh, okay, some revolution, but it's not that big, you know? And the punchline of all this is that probably between right now, 2025, and even 2040, we're going to be more surprised by what's going to happen in the world than these people if they were teleported to where we are today. And some of the things that may happen for the people who are not aware, it may be like, okay, having another species on Earth is smarter than humans, which is humans merging with robots, so some tech symbiosis, or having a job and becoming meaningless in society, and even reaching immortality in our lifetimes. Like, what the fuck? This is a joke. This is science fiction. This is not going to happen in our lifetimes, you say. For which I reply, hey, amazing that you're a critical thinker. Let's dig this and see how the hell can this be possible, because this seems too bold of a claim to just throw in there.
If you're into the tech symbiosis, I can recommend reading Nexus. It's a really nice fictional story that explains how the merging of AI and telepathy, it just really explains on how different the world can be. And I think this can happen within like 2030, 2040. At the moment, AI is still the tool, and AI will not replace your job, but someone using AI will replace your job. I think we're still at this stage. But AI at the moment is the dumbest and most expensive it will ever be.
We have already crossed the AGI point. And AGI, in a very simple manner, it is a point where artificial intelligence, it is as valuable as a human in economically valuable tasks. Not smarter than, because right now the ChatGPT, it is in many, many, many ways smarter than you. If you go talk about quantum physics, it just knows more than you. So it's not smarter than humans, but are you as economically valuable as a human in the world? If I go here to the Sam Altman thing, the initial definition for the past, 10 years, it was this: highly autonomous systems that outperforms humans at the most economically valuable work.
With ASI, like, all bets are off, because we have no idea what this can look like. It's an ant trying to understand the concept of physics. Perfect. There's like chickens and monkeys, and then there are humans. We don't know what's possible. Like, ASI can just rewrite atoms. Like, we can write notes on a paper. Like, we have absolutely no idea what it can do. Artificial intelligence is the last invention that humans will make, because like, after we are at this stage where it's just so much smart. There we go.
I'm reading your mind.
I love those notes. You're really prepared. I love that.
And by the way, if it was just right here, let's say ASI, it would already be impressive, because imagine there is being a bigger gap between you and the AI versus you and a fucking ants. Like, you and a fucking ant. This would be already impressive if the ASI was kind of right here. It would be like, whoa, we cannot even comprehend. But no, it's like, we cannot comprehend what this means. So that's why the concept of ASI, it is funny.
To start to comprehend reading fiction and like these sci-fi stories, and all of these things give us a glimpse on what can be possible to understand something greater than ourselves. Oh, it's like this fictional series, and people didn't freak out because they're already familiar with that. And I think this is why it's so important to not just read non-fiction books, because non-fiction is very much like, hey, this is what we have right now. But considering on how fast things are moving, and the prediction like when ASI is coming is like 10 years, maybe 20 years, but definitely like in our lifetime.
If we go into the fictional part of it, so I have something here at the end, and I think we can also add your notes here. If people just want to watch movies to get some glimpse of how this looks like, these were my suggestions. So you mentioned Nexus, Ready Player One.
Ready Player One is a good one. It doesn't go as much into AI, but like general the future and what's possible. I really liked her. Ex Machina is a little bit disturbing. iRobot is quite funny. I haven't seen Westworld. I think there's a remake of that.
But everyone who has watched it, like they give me very, very, very good recommendations of Westworld. So it is on my bucket list. Doing a quick recap of all this stuff. Imagine if in 10 years we feel as big of a jump as these people would have felt if they saw our world today. That's pretty much the punchline of it. And how this is possible, we are in an exponential, and we are going to reach artificial general intelligence, artificial superintelligence, and what this looks like, it is this fucking big jump in intelligence that we cannot even comprehend.
ASI would definitely be at the point where it can just do everything for us, and then we turn into these robots from WALL-E who just kind of like sit on our chairs and just watch television all day. And that would obviously be a dystopia. Either ASI just destroys us and we can really do this, and this is the Skynet thing, or it has the potential to build a perfect society, which doesn't really exist. And we as humans have to think like, okay, what's even the point of all of this? Like, nothing that I do makes a significant impact. My work doesn't contribute to anything because ASI can just like snap its finger and manifest whatever it wants because it is able to control things at a molecular level.
But what would be your guess of how to prevent that from happening?
To prevent Skynet, I think it's important to not just have one system that controls everything, but have systems to compete with one another, right? Because you don't just want to have one Superman who is able to do whatever, but if everyone becomes Superman, the whole thing becomes much more appealing. And there will always be people who abuse this kind of technology, but there seem to be always more people who use the technology for the good. That's why I think we need to have not just one artificial intelligence. Ideally, everyone has their own, and they're not connected to the point where a virus can just take over everything.
The main question in my mind that just created all of this document, if we have an ASI superintelligence in, let's say, 6-7 years, does it make any sense for me to build an online business? Does it make more sense for me to open a local bakery store? Because it's going to take a lot longer for a robotics from Tesla to come here to my city and actually replace the bakery production here in my little city. So this was a big question in my mind. Like, should I start investing from now into local things? Because this is going to take longer to be replaced. That's why here in this document, something that I have here at the end, it was like, okay, what would be my advice? Let's say Thales opinion sport. I had something here like, what would be my advice for a single mom in face of the situation? What would be my advice to a plumber, to someone who programs? And for each one of those, I put here, what would be my perspective for each one of those people, for an agency owner, for a coach, to see how each one of those people, they would be affected by what is about to come, you know? So trying to look at it from different angles.
Mad respect for putting all of these things together. Is there something else that you want to jump in on?
There is so much to unpacking. By making this document available, people can go through this by themselves and take a look at stuff. Main advice I would guess it is staying up to date.
Learning to adapt fast is really important, because otherwise you will just not understand what things are happening. And that's why I'm like, start reading fiction, start like understanding what's even possible. Everything is going to change from this point. I'm really glad that you put this document together. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, my pleasure.